Hi, welcome to the Libertarian Alternative. My name is Mark Selzer, and today's guest is Art Olivier, the former mayor of Bellflower, and my co-host, Angela Keaton. And today, thank you for coming out, by the way, and thank you, Art, for coming out. And today we're going to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the mayor of Bellflower, and we're going to
No, he's the governor of California.
He's the governor of California with the mayor of Bellflower. And thanks for that correction. And Arnold was not a mayor of any city before he was elected to be the governor of California. You, however, have, so you're actually qualified to talk about him, which is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger and what he has done for the state of California, or as some people say, to the state of California. And we're going to try to do the entire show without doing any of those bad, awful Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations. We promise you, this is my promise to you. So Arnold was elected saying that he was going to get rid of the car tax that Gray Davis wanted, and then as soon as he was elected, this is the thing that most burns me, as soon as he was elected, he helped pass a bond that is 3 times, with the interest, is 3 times as much as the car tax proposed by Gray Davis that he was thrown out of office for.
Yeah, it was a $15 billion bond, and then all that did was get us further into debt. And he's continued with that. Well, you have to go back a little ways on some of the problems that we have here in California. They even predate Davis. Back in the Wilson administration, this is when they came up with the so-called deregulation of energy. And what they did is they took the energy policy that we had in the state of California, doubled the amount of regulations, and called it deregulation. And it was all special interests that were working within the Wilson administration. So when Arnold decided to be governor, those people that had developed a lot of the policies, the failed policies of Pete Wilson, joined the Arnold camp. It says, you need us. We will help you get elected. We will help you run the state of California. Now, Arnold's a great guy. I mean, he gave up this tremendous career to try to help out California.
Right.
But the people that are actually doing the work, the policy wonks, those are all Wilson people, the people that created the problem in the first place. You can't expect the people that created the problem to solve the problems. And it's one thing after another. Like one of the things that Wilson did when he was in office is that he needed support from the California Correctional Police Officers Association, the CCPOA, the most corrupt public union in the state of California.
Now, why is that? That's a bold statement to make.
They have so much power. Right now, if you're a member of the CCPOA, to get a job working at the prison, you need a high school degree, 2 weeks of training, and you can make $100,000 a year with your overtime.
Wow.
It's an incredible opportunity. And if you like staging fights, if you like to have retribution against your prisoners by having them raped, you can get away with that. The CCPOA has so much power that they can write legislation to be after the fact, after you violated somebody's rights. They'll write legislation to let you get away with it.
Wow.
They actually had that case where the Booty Bandit was the big trial up in Northern California. They had assigned the Booty Bandit to rape an inmate who was accused of assaulting a female police officer, correctional officer. And the Booty Bandit even testified, hey, they told me to do it.
Unbelievable.
And they got away with it. They are the biggest contributors to Pete Wilson, to Gray Davis, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. When Prop 66, this was the proposition to amend 3 strikes. When that was on the ballot last time, it was going to pass. What it would do is, see, right now you have people that are in prison for 3 strikes. the people that are in there for marijuana convictions outnumber the murder, rapists, and child molesters combined. They over double the amount of people in there for marijuana convictions than all those serious crimes combined.
That's insane.
And so Proposition 66 was going to fix that problem, and people were ready to vote for it. And the CCPOA put out their big guns, and they got Arnold to come out there on TV with a pack of lies, telling the people in California that if they were to vote for Proposition 66, that it would release all these violent criminals out on the streets. And it was a complete fabrication that was written by the CCPOA. But the Wilson people that run the Schwarzenegger administration thought, you know what, when we start doing some of our reforms, we're going to need the CCPOA on our side, not against us.
Let me ask some background questions. How did Arnold Schwarzenegger win? I mean, what were people expecting from him? What promises did he make in the first place? And why were people so angry at Gray Davis?
Well, Gray Davis was running such a huge deficit. The taxes were being raised. They had cut. What had happened with the budget in California is when we had that windfall, with the stock market had gone way up. A lot of people that had the high-tech stocks lived in California. They cashed out. They paid a tremendous amount of income tax on cashing out on their stocks. The budget just increased. All these revenues increased in the state of California. Instead of giving that money back to the taxpayers or simply putting it into certain infrastructure projects that are non-recurring, they decided to give everybody that worked for the state a raise. They decided to create new programs as if this money was going to be coming in every year. Well, of course, it only came in the 1 year when people cashed out, and then every other year we started running huge deficits. And they started borrowing money to pay for the deficits. At the same time, they actually reduced the the vehicle license fee. They cut it down to 1/3. Well, when those revenues weren't coming in, they tripled it back up to where it was before, and people got mad, and that helped Arnold Schwarzenegger to get elected, because he said he would get rid of it, which he did. But he did it by more massive borrowing, and like these propositions. Now, Proposition 66 would have saved the state of California billions of dollars, because you wouldn't be putting these marijuana violators into prison for 25 years to life. The other proposition that he supported in a time of massive debt was Proposition 71, stem cell research. And now this is corporate welfare at its greatest. They had this one professor from Stanford that got on TV and these TV commercials and was promoting Proposition 71. Well, he was one of the co-founders of Stem Cell Inc. He owns 1.7 million shares, and the day that Arnold got on TV to support Proposition 71, his stock went through the roof. He made over $2 million.
Wow. In one day.
In that few weeks of after Arnold supported Proposition 71, and then after it passed. That's how much his stock went up. It went up 51% because of Arnold supporting that stock. And I mean, for supporting the Proposition 71. And what that does is it's $3 billion that the state government gives to these companies for stem cell research that they were doing anyway. But now they don't have to, it's just a windfall for those companies, those biotech companies that were, of course, funded Proposition 71. And they're going to do this research for 10 years. We're going to be paying back those bonds for 20. So 10 years after all the research is done, we're still going to be paying $300 million a year back on those bonds.
You know why I think this happens? I don't think most people know what a bond is. Explain what a bond is. People think somehow, miraculously, when you give your money